everyone, Anita here and welcome to week 24 of the 52-week illustration challenge. The theme for this week was birthday. I'm just gonna drop it out there before I forget, because I tend to. And first of all, I want to say, look at how flat my paper is. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for all the comments under the last video. I changed my thumbtacks to staples, and I use just regular staples, just the type you would use for paper, which don't damage the wood so much, and it just stays flat. It's perfectly flat. I'm going to try it again because I still in the back of my head believe it was just a fluke, but so far so good. I am so happy. And as you can see here, I have a very simple picture this picture is not that simple, but the background is very simple. I've decided to just do some really nice peachy pink stripes, and so I've covered the whole space with just a thin layer of that peachy color, and as you can see I put it everywhere. And then I used masking tape to create some stripes, and I just tried to make them even, but I'm not exactly that OCD about it, so you can't really see it unless you measure. So I just eyed it and tried to put the stripes evenly, and then I'm filling in the gaps in between the stripes with the same peachy color, so that it just creates a very soft stripy background. Nothing very very fancy, but that was the point for this picture. I wanted the emphasis to be put on the cake. And this picture, I want to also throw it out there, it's a collaborative effort because I've had a very bad week last week. I've overworked myself. It happens, okay? I still can't really work out how to kind of make balance work and relaxing, and just I tend to work until I drop. So I dropped last week, and I've decided, okay, this is enough. I have to do some planning, and so I've decided that I will plan all of those pictures beforehand during streams. And so last stream we just kind of sat there and coming up with ideas. So thank you so much to everyone who participated in that. I have now pictures prepared for 3 weeks. So this one plus 2 more, and I will be using the stream to come up with more ideas until I've basically have all the ideas till the end of the year. Because really, with all the other projects I have going, I just need to do some planning for this for this challenge, because I tend to I don't really have a choice. I leave it till Sunday and then I come up with ideas. And as you guys know, because I've mentioned before, I tend to come up with ideas when I do something else and just kind of bruise in my head, and then I'm ready when I'm sitting down to sketch. I'm ready with an idea. But since I'm doing so much creative work nowadays, I literally don't have that time anymore, and that hit me, that it became steadily much harder to get the ideas. And so this is a perfect solution. Yesterday, normally for the past few weeks, let's put it like this, for the past few weeks, since when my workload became much heavier, I was painting these through the whole night. I was finishing around 6 a.m., 5 a.m., once even 7:30 in the morning. So not exactly, what you want to do. And this one was done at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. I still had time to prepare the coloring page for the patrons. I edited the video. Perfect. It was just absolutely perfect. Thank you so much to everyone who helped me. I'm so happy with it. So as you can see here, I have the stripes ready. I've used my heat tool, for those of you who might be wondering, to soften the glue under the tape so I could peel it off easier. And then I started filling in the colors. I didn't have any color scheme in my head, and so I started with the things I was certain I wanted to do. So I knew that the top tier of that cake was a chocolate cake with a strawberry filling. So I filled that in, and the next thing I knew were the citrus fruit, because there's just that many citrus fruit. I imagined them to be those little jelly citrus slices. that you can buy at the store. I don't know. People in Holland will know because they are available here for sure. And I actually don't like them. I don't like the way they taste, but they look so delicious in that box that it just, you just want it. And once in a while, usually every few years, I just get that urge to buy them and eat them. But then, of course, they are not delicious at all. I just, the taste doesn't appeal to me. I'm not saying that nobody will like them, but I just don't personally like them. So then I have enough for another few years, and then until I forget the tastes, then I will buy another box. And so I knew the citrus fruit was there, the citrus candy. And so I've kind of matched the colors to go with that color scheme, the citrus color scheme. As you can see, we have green fondant with the scalloped edge. And then I just added some blue to the stripes and made like a teal, bluish teal kind of stripes underneath the green fondant. And it's just sometimes you have to build on top of what you already have. One of the reasons I started with the background this time was because I knew I wanted the pink background. It was just something stuck in my head, and so that I've decided to put it down first to get the color scheme started. So, for example, I had the idea to put in very pastel colors. And if you can see me adding white watercolor to a lot of these colors to make them more pastel, but it didn't really work out in all the places. I feel like I really wanted the colors to be even more pale, but I don't know, it just doesn't fit me. I want to do something, but it just feels better if I don't do it in the end. I don't know how to explain this, but sometimes, I just change a lot while I paint. So here we have some whipped cream dollops, and I didn't really want to make like the typical white whipped cream dollops, so I just made them chocolates just because they're cocoa flavored. And I'm also not doing much shading here. As you can see, I'm adding a little bit of that blue underneath the scallop and at the edges, and just trying to drop some color between the dollops, but it's very minimal. Recently, I'm going away from the shading. I've never really liked shading to begin with because it's just too much work. So, I don't know, it just fits with my painting style recently. I feel good about not putting too much excessive shading, just playing with colors and lines and details. That's fine. Oh, if you hear noises in the background, I hope you don't. It's really hard for me lately to find time during the day to record because my neighbors on all sides are just, I don't know, they just seem to have like that time of the year when everybody is doing something. And so I'm recording this in the early afternoon. Still, people are doing stuff. So I'm sorry for any background noises. I'm trying my best to find some good time to do these, but I can't just wait for them to finish because I will be waiting till the middle of the night, probably. So, as you can, sorry for the small rant. I still dream of that house in the middle of nowhere, but they won't have good internet there, so yeah. Oh well. So, as you can see, I'm still filling in the colors. It really is nothing that interesting to watch, at least I feel personally, because there is a lot of repetitive things. I'm just filling in flat spaces with colors. You can see here I skipped the other color in the middle tier under the chocolate fondant. Just because I felt, you saw me do it once, that's enough. And this part here when I'm painting the cat seemed much more interesting. Because what I'm doing right here is recently I've started dropping in colors to wet surface to create like nicer gradients and shading. Seems easier to me for some reason, at least recently. And so as you can see, I'm wetting the whole surface of the cat, the whole let's say the middle of the cat, the body, and then I'm dropping in a little bit of that blue around the edges to create a bit more of dimension. As I've said, I didn't want to do too much shading, but it felt necessary because that cat is supposed to be white. I wanted to do a little bit of a tricolor, more of a spotted cat. Since I've been doing, usually my cats are dark, very British short hair inspired. So I wanted to do something lighter. And, I needed to give it a little bit more volume before I've added all the patches of color. And so that's why I've added the blue. And a few like maybe words about the idea of behind it. When I first thought about birthday theme, I wanted to make a cake because I love cakes and I love cake decorating. I don't do it myself. I tried it once. There was even a very first video on this channel, which is now deleted and doesn't exist anymore, was a cake like a decorated cake showcase. I don't know. I just made one cake with fondant roses, and I was so excited about it. Decided to put it on YouTube, and that was my very first video. And I really love looking at cake decorating, and just it's fun. It's fun to watch. And so that was the first thing that popped in my head. And then I imagined, how to make, I started to think how to make it a little bit more interesting. And I wanted to do something with some small animals building the cake. And then something happening, that was my initial idea, like something happened that destroyed the cake. And then when we went on stream, we were switching ideas, like bouncing with the viewers, and at first there was an idea to put in a giraffe, like a giraffe popping out of the cake, like a little bit too early to say happy birthday, but unfortunately, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. It was too tall. It didn't feel very well, like it wasn't a very good idea. So then someone mentioned that maybe it would be better that if it was a cat. And that's when I thought, okay, this is a little bit shorter. I still had enough space for that long tail, but it's still, I could do a cat. I think it would be a little bit easier than giraffe because, you have cats in all kinds of different poses, and it's very hard to actually find a giraffe in a pose that I wanted. Just see how the face would basically the pose. And so I wasn't very sure about, how I would actually pull that off. And so the cat was like the safer option and also very cute. I immediately decided I wanted to make a colored cat with spots on it. And later on I've decided I wanted to be like a tricolor. And as you can see here, I really like that I'm adding the darker spots. And I really like how they are layering with the blue. I don't know, there's just something about blue shadows that I really, really like. So I have to use that more often. So yeah, that was the basic idea. And then it was just a matter of figuring out what the mice were doing. So I made one kind of drop off the ladder. The other one was shocked. The third one is kind of messing up a whipped cream dollop. And so very, very easy idea, but it's perfect because maybe I'll even make greeting cards out of it to sell later in my Etsy store. So that's definitely something to think about. It's not really something I want to do right now because I have other projects, but it's a perfect picture for that kind of occasion. So here I'm doing a cake board, and I had a very good idea what I wanted to do with the cake board. If you guys watch the cake decorating shows, you will know, or at least I've noticed that a lot of those cake boards are like made out of glittery something. I don't know if it's a paper or just like a surface, but I wanted to do that. And I didn't really know if, the first thing that popped in my head was like, okay, I'm just going to add tons of dots in white gouache, and that should be enough, right? And but then I was like, I'm unsure if maybe that's not enough, maybe I should add some shading. But then I thought, I have there's a minimal shading here, and I usually work with white, so why not just do it the way I feel the first moment, like the first instinct? And so that's what I will do later on. And but first of all, I had to finish all the details and all the lines. And the problem with this kind of painting is that until you add the lines and white details, it looks a little bit off, and it will never feel good until that final moment. And so it's very hard for me to decide, okay, this is enough. I just need to add the details right now, and that's when it will start looking good. But once I started adding these lines to the cat over here, it started to look really, really decent, and I was starting to be very happy with it. So once again, I hear my neighbor sewing something. Sewing? I don't know. He's just making lots of noise. I really hope that my microphone is not picking it up. So then I come in with some colored pencils because I wanted to add a little bit more glow to the colors. Now, I don't really want the colors to be equally vibrant everywhere, but sometimes I feel the need that there is a little bit more of a vibrancy in one spot and then less in the other. And that's exactly what I'm doing right here. I'm just adding, like, as you can see, especially it's visible on that layer of green fondant when there's just a little bit more of extra color. And then I've decided to add a little bit more splatters. Now, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to do the splatters. I just decided to add little droplets. Everybody will still know what it's about, so it's fine. Then I came in with some of the colored pencils for extra texture and some extra color. And as you can see here, I'm adding a dark bluish gray and also some brown. Now, I have a problem. This is a little bit of an OCD problem here. When you layer colored pencil, it will have texture. But sometimes it feels like, especially when you layer dark color over light color, like if there's a bit of, like a lot of contrast between the two colors, or a lot of difference, it's just too much, and I need to even that out. But I have to get over it because I actually like the way it looks in the final product. So I just skipped completely. So here actually I've decided to record every single thing I do in white gouache because I've received some questions about how I use my white details and where I put it. Eventually I want to make a video about it, but I thought I would just touch on it over here since, I don't know when that video will come out, hopefully soon. But the way I basically do my white details is everywhere I think that a glow would appear. It just comes from experience, and for example, I know that like right here, when you have a glossy texture like a chocolate fondant would have, for example, it will have like the lighter edge, and there will be glow appearing, like the reflection of light will be appearing on the little droplets. I also like to outline my fruit in white. I just think it looks nice. There is not really any science behind it, I suppose. And as you can see, I also added lots of little seeds to the strawberries because I just liked when they are white instead of black. They could also be different color. I just like them in white. I like to add a lot of little white details. And as you can also see, there's plenty of white reflection on top of those droplets, the cream splatters that the cat is making. So that's basically it. It's when I thought about actually making a video, I didn't really know what I should talk about because there is no really any big science behind it. I'm literally thinking where the light would hit, and I'm putting it mostly on the edges, where the glow should be. It's just a bit harder glow instead of making it softer and more blended. So that's why. And then, I'm also adding it all to all the pearls, and all the pearls are the same color because I just felt that, it would look nice. So for example, also here, when I'm adding white glow to the edge of that plate, I'm just adding it a little bit to the middle instead of all the way because that's where the light would be concentrated. And yeah. And here I'm adding tons of little dots. The thing I was talking about, I'm trying to create that glitter effect on the board. And I'm actually quite happy with it. It took quite a while to finish, but I'm really happy with it. I just tried to make the white dots concentrated more towards the outside edge of the cake, because that's where I felt that there would be more light reflecting than towards the cake itself, where there would be shadow hitting. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's the cake. I am so happy with it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I would totally eat a cake like that right now. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you so very much for watching. If you would like to see this picture in a bigger size, head to my Facebook page. And yeah, thank you so very much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye!